Hey everybody, John here with the Pulsing Cinema here. I thought I'd do a really quick overview of this new Blu-ray repackaging of the Terminator, the original James Cameron Terminator, the Terminator, a James Cameron film, as the cover of this red-cased Blu-ray advertises. As I said, it's just it's a repackaging of the remastered Terminator Blu-ray, I think from 2013, with some online-only streaming time-limited extras. So, this thing came out in May 2015. It was released May 2015, I think in anticipation of this summer's Terminator Genesis film. They said, oh hey, we're going to re-release the Terminator one more time in a new repackaging. Their last repackaging was that MGM art house kind of like artsy cover with just the Terminator hand, the Terminator arm. I thought that cover art sucked. Before that, there was the repackaging with the painted Terminator, and that was the release of the remastered version of the Terminator. It was originally released in Europe, then released in here. The original Blu-ray of the Terminator, it goes back to like what, 2006, 2007. It was an MPEG-2 encode and had noise reduction. Everybody hated it. It was all bad. Then this remastered version of the Terminator hit European Blu-ray. And you can look online. There's a lot of discussions about the colors. People don't like the colors. Blah 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 blah. You know, it doesn't look like the colors in the 1980s or 1990s or early 2000 video transfers. It's kind of a new. Looking at it, it doesn't really seem to be orange and teal as some people would argue online. It feels like a very muted color scheme, with some neon colors and stuff, and very moody, and but I mean, it's Terminator, okay? If you like it, it's Terminator. Also, the remastered version doesn't have the original mono soundtrack. That's been a big contention for fans of the Terminators over the years, that the home video releases, I think in the late 80s, they did that Laserdisc release that I think had a fake stereo soundtrack, and then the DVDs have and Blu-rays now have this remixed soundtrack, and I believe Gary Rydstrom went back with James Cameron and they created this new multi-channel surround sound version of the Terminator soundtrack, which may have different sounds, different stuff. You know, for me, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of revisionist soundtracks. Like, I think Good and Bad and the Ugly soundtrack on the special edition is horrible. It sucks. They took out all of the spaghetti western signature sound effects and all that stuff. And I used to hate the Vertigo remix with the new sound. Though, to be honest, the Vertigo remix, once you hear it in like a 70mm in a theater, if you hear it there, like the gunshots and stuff, it doesn't sound as new. It plays really well in a theater. Something about watching it on a home video, you're like, oh, those soundtracks, that sound sucks. Something about playing it in a theater, it works. It doesn't sound so modern. Not the case with Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the soundtrack just, I mean, I don't know who thought about remixing that abomination, but let's not think about Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and their you know, disfigurement of that brilliant film with the re-releases and the colors and the soundtracks and the let's not think about it. Let's talk about the Terminator. So, it came out in May 2015. I was at Walmart and I was just looking around. I went to the 788 bin and I was like, there. It was like, whoa, there is the Terminator. I'd also seen it at Target before, and it had at Target you can buy this with a slipcase. I haven't seen the slipcase copies of this film at Walmart, but I've seen a bunch of really ragged, torn slipcases. It's basically just this art with a slipcase, with an O-ring or what have you, with the slipcase. The content of this film is, as I said, the same as that. I believe 2013 they released the remastered version in the US, which I think was kind of confusing because I think the cover art of the remastered version, there were a couple different, there have been so many releases of the Terminator, it's difficult to get the definitive, but basically if you want the remastered version of the Terminator with the revisionist colors, which really aren't revisionist, the revisionist soundtrack, which is really, to my mind, fine. You know, it's like, what's the original, what did the laser blast originally sound like? You know, I mean, it's a fantasy film, and I personally love the remastered soundtrack. Brad Feidel's score sounds just thumping and beautiful, and I don't really see a reason to go back to mono, to be honest. You know, it's not the Beatles. It's a movie soundtrack with lasers and guns and cool stuff, and it's not like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly where there was such signature sounds. It's the Terminator. It's a Terminator soundtrack. To me, it's still good. So it's the remastered version of it, down to the disc. I mean, they haven't even there's no disc art, but they haven't repressed the disc or remastered it. So one thing that kind of got me curious, and I was talking about that earlier, is the extras. Because if you look in the packaging, there's a sticker on it, and it says, featuring, some 2 new featurettes with James Cameron. Ooh, new James Cameron special features. And I should have read about this earlier, but then you get it. And by the way, also included in this package, the new cover art, red Blu-ray case, and then they also have some nice lobby cards, some nice postcards from the making of Terminator. Yeah, some really nice little stills, and that was very thoughtful of them to put that in. So that's nice. And then it's a Blu-ray / digital HD release, so you get the digital code. It's a ultraviolet code. It's not an iTunes code, of course. And then you get the slip. Okay, so the extras, the 2 new featurettes with James Cameron, are not on the disc itself. They are streaming online at a website called foxextras.com. And what can I say about it? Okay, I'm like, all right, we got to go to foxextras.com to view online. You can't download these things. You can only view them on this website. And so then I looked at the thing and the code, and then right next to it, it's like, okay, you can stream these until December 2015. And I'm like, okay, so it's a time-limited streaming-only extra. And then you look at the little asterisk next to it. And then you look at the very bottom, and it says you can view it up to 10 times. So basically, this is like DivX. This is like circuits. I've never seen a Blu-ray or a DVD release that had streaming. I guess I'm not into the latest thing that these companies are trying to pull on people. Streaming only extras that you can only view on a company website 10 times for about in the time span of about 6 months. So like if I bought this movie in like, say if I found this in a bin like in October or November, I only have like a few weeks to actually watch this extra. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I mean that's just loony. So you go to the website. Okay, so what are the extras? There's an American Cinematheque Q&A with Deborah Hill and James Cameron. There is then a film festival screening, Q&A with James Cameron. So it's 2 separate Q&As. One I think is about a little over an hour. One is about 37 minutes. The American Cinematheque Q&A is about 37 minutes. And but they're cool extras. I mean, it's something I would watch. A lot of the anecdotes about working with James Cameron, about his mom sending him McDonald's coupons that he could survive on, to make. Well, he wrote the Terminator. A lot of those stories and the lore. It's in those Q&As. So the Q&As really, as far as I know, don't have there's not too many revelations in them. I mean, I was to be quite honest, I haven't really watched the Q&As very closely because, like, I was just so stunned when I started reading the packaging that I have basically 10 times the stream in it. I mean, like, it's like, okay, what does that mean by you mean like I start watching it a little bit and then I quit the browser and then I reopen it and go back to the extras? Does that count as one? Is it daily? Is it daily? Is it by IP address? Is it, what do you mean by 10 times? I mean, that's just such a anti-consumer thing, ridiculous. I mean, okay, put them on a disc and say we gotta enter in the disc and we gotta enter in a code and do that. And then, or, put them on a website and say, okay, as long as this website's up, you can watch the thing. We may take this website down next week. We may take it down next year and next 2 years, whatever. But to time limit to like 6 months, basically, and that you can only watch it 10 times. I mean, come on, that's just ridiculous. And then, okay, to add insult on top of it, of injury. Of Blu-ray, first world injury. I enter in the code that's in this thing, and it told me the code was invalid. Kept going, code's invalid, code's invalid, code's invalid. And I'm like, what? And then I read online, and everybody else is having very similar problems. The code's invalid. So on the website, on foxextras.com, there is a feedback at fox.com. I don't know, you go on the website, if you're having a problem with the streaming video, you email that website. I emailed that website, it provides some information about the Blu-ray, and they sent me a new code. They say they called it a replacement serial number. So, and that took about a day. Well, that took actually about a day and a half, because I emailed them, and they got back to me, and then I had to provide some more information, and then they emailed me the code. So, this is a time-limited, faulty code, streaming-only extra. I mean, it's like, come on, it's a disaster. I have a feeling they're going to re-release this. They're going to re-release, of course, they're going to re-release this 5 billion times. When the 5th movie, Genesis, comes out, I bet you they do a 5-disc set or 6-disc set or whatever, and they include those 2 extras. What are you going to bet? I don't know. I'm just, I like this. I like this Blu-ray. I mean, I like the cover art. I think it's pretty cool. But I think the 2 extras are, the whole streaming-only extras. Again, I don't know. I don't really buy, mainstream stuff. So I'm not really used to this streaming-only crap. But it is crap, and it is garbage, and it kind of taints what is otherwise a really, cool repackaging of the remastered version of Terminator. So, but there you go. Definitely, it's like $7.88, $8 at Target and Walmart. The only Terminator I had the DVD of the remastered with I had the DVD with like the shimmery cover thing, and I'd skipped the earlier VHS and Laserdisc, whatever. I mean, Terminator's always had some weird draconian stuff. Like I remember with T2 when they released that, and they had the 2nd disc that had like this DRM'd, messed up HD version of Terminator 2 that was in like Windows Media Video. Back in the day, I mean, this thing takes it to another level of streaming-only, time-limited extras, and they give you a faulty code in the box. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.